Fusion Mobile, quality e-learning experience on the go.
Good day and welcome to Fusion Mobile e-learning class. My name is Farami Kende and this is English language. Today we are still on vocabulary development, and the aspect or part of which we are dealing with today is antonyms as words exactly opposite in meaning. Let us ask ourselves this question: is there any word that has exactly an opposite in meaning? Definitely not. Take for instance, there are no two words that are exactly opposite in meaning. Why? Because the antonym of a word all depends on the use of the word in a particular context. Look at the example that we have on the board. The underlined words are good, big, short, and happy. Now, the way we made use of these words in this context, let us see if their actual opposites can be used the same way they are used. Here we have a good number of students turned up. The second one says, tell her everything. She has a big heart. The third one says, in short, you have to pay for it. And the last one says, I am happy with that decision. Now, the opposite of good is bad. The opposite of big is small. The opposite of short is tall, while the opposite of happy is sad. These are the direct opposites of the words underlined. Now let us see if these things are going to mean the same thing, the words that are given in the sentences. A bad number of students turned up. It is not grammatical. It doesn't go. Here we have, tell her everything. She has a small heart. It doesn't make sense either. And here we have, in tall, you have to pay for everything. And here, I am sad with that decision. These opposites do not go along with the exact word, which makes us to conclude that there are no direct opposite of words in English language in a particular context. In this context, the opposite of these words do not get along with them. Now, what do? We came up with ideas such as the use of affixes. Affixes are words that come before or after a root word. If a particular set of letters come before a root word, it is called an affix. If it comes after the root word, it is called a suffix. And if it comes in between the root word, it is called infix. Now, we are going to list a few examples and show us how we came up with the exact opposite of these words by the application or addition of affixes. Instead, the addition of letters to a root word that comes before a root word are called prefixes. And the ones that come after the root word are called suffixes, while the ones in between the root word are called infixes. Few examples are going to be listed on the board with affixes, precisely prefixes, that actually turned the root word into, that made them have a direct opposite. On the board are a list of examples of how root words can actually have direct opposites by the application or addition of prefixes. Here we have the prefix un, on. The root words we have here are able, common, and conscious. which gives us the direct opposite or direct exact antonym, which are unable, uncommon, unconscious. Here we have mal, we have nourish as the root word, we have function as the root word, and practice. And by the addition of these prefixes, we have malnourish, malfunction, malpractice. Also here we have the prefix dis, this. The root words we have are allow, approve, honest. And by adding them, the antonyms we derive are disallow, disapprove, dishonest. This has been the way that we can only add, or that we can only come up with the direct or exact antonym of a word in a particular context. A context where we can use the root word, we can also use it, we can also make the use of its antonym by the addition of these prefixes or suffixes. A few questions are going to pop up on the screen for you to attempt in order to know or evaluate your proficiency in this topic. If you have any difficulty in answering these questions, please go back to review the video and update yourself on them. Previously, we discussed antonyms as words that are exactly opposite in meaning. Now, we will discuss antonyms as words nearly opposite in meaning. How do we identify antonyms in a particular sentence or context? First, we identify antonyms by context clues. By context clues. If we remember very well in how to read and comprehend and understand comprehension passages, we made mention of points like understanding new words by the use of context clues. It helps to pinpoint what a particular word means in a particular sentence. And by doing that, it gives us the idea of what the new word means. Another way of identifying words that are nearly opposite in meaning is by breaking the words into meaningful bits or meaningful units. Example of such words is premeditation. If we break premeditate into bits, if we take away the prefix pre, which means before, and meditate, we actually know what this means. So in this situation where we have premeditate and we are given options like determined, accidental, planned, continued, we can actually determine which of these options is nearly opposite in meaning to premeditate. For someone to premeditate means to think about something before a particular moment. To meditate, to have a deep thought before a particular event. Now, if something happens or someone takes up, performs an action premeditatedly, such action must have been planned beforehand. Now, the opposite of that from the list of options we have: determined, accidental, planned, continued. We would realize that accidental is actually the nearest opposite in meaning to the word premeditated. We said earlier that premeditated means to have planned ahead, planned earlier. So something that happens accidentally has not been planned at all. Another way of identifying a word that is nearly opposite in meaning, in a case where we have options to choose from, we can make use of the elimination method. by removing irrelevant options. When we are given a sentence and a particular word is highlighted or made bold for us to look for this antonym, we can look at the list of options we have and then eliminate from them one after the other till we streamline and come to a very close possibility of finding the word that is nearly opposite in meaning. And lastly, the other method that we can use to identify words that are nearly opposite in meaning is by reading wide to acquire more vocabulary. We read newspapers, read novels, read journals. All these things help to broaden one's scope and vocabulary. A few questions are going to pop up on the screen for you to treat and go through. If you have any problem in understanding or answering these questions, please do not hesitate to review the video once more. Thank you.